Hi everyone, it's Ayesha here from godfm, and I just did this recording, but it didn't record, and I ended up uploading the wrong segment at the beginning, so I'm redoing this. This is about Apple iPhones being used by rapists and perpetrators to hack into devices, but also the gang stalking operation is operated by the same people who rolled out this technology. This is Apple iPhones that are to track you, watch you, follow you, hack you, stalk you through camera, through all of these different apps. And I want to go through some of the settings. Today is the 16th of April 2026, Thursday. And I can tell you that I have first-hand experience of the capabilities of these people, and I'm raising awareness of the flaws on security with Apple devices. And I believe Apple have created these devices so they can follow, track and watch you, but also so that child-eating, blood-drinking psychopaths can also locate you and rape your children. Right? Okay. I've just done a recording for that as well. So if I go into, if we're going into Apple iPhone, if you go into your personal information, sign in and security, one of the ways these guys get in, once they've linked everything, is they add their own number and then they take over the device. And I want to raise awareness of that. Then they delete it. They also put your number down for iMessage and stop you getting all your messages. Then under iCloud, they put it as auto sign in and they have it as shared albums. So be careful of that as well. And they often, within this, they do a contact verification as well, contact key verification, turning that off if you've got that on. And it's like auto sign in. The other big flaw I've noticed is that to sign in to your iPhone on Apple, you give it the passcode. And if somebody knows your passcode, they can go on to your browser and log in, download apps onto your iCloud, sign themselves in, and then they can also Bluetooth all your data over to another device and clone your device in 5 seconds. I mean, it's so quick that this can happen. And I want to expose the dangers and the serious security flaws that I have recognized within the Apple devices. Okay? From my perspective, one of the other things I've noticed is under the Wi-Fi. It's auto connect. If you go into Wi-Fi, and then you go edit on the right hand side, then you will have to put in your passcode and you'll have no networks. If there's loads of networks on there that you haven't removed, these are auto connecting and they can spoof and pretend to be those networks, even telephone masts as well. The same people who are doing this to me are the same people that are raping our children as visitors to England, all right, and across the world. This is a planned internal takeover. Mobile service, if you notice that, sometimes even though you've got a physical SIM, there's going to be various SIMs that are in there, business and all of those things. So I've got 4 or 5 that show up on my device sometimes. The other thing I've found is that it's under general. If we go into general, then you'll find under AirPlay and picture-in-picture, all of those are all to share your things. So you need to go through every little element of your phone. Every single app is to track, follow, watch, and basically know your whereabouts. There's so many apps. Let's go through the apps and just confirm what I'm talking about. The App Store, you need to make sure that it's not auto download. they've got to ask to download. That calendar is not synchronized to anything that you don't want a hacker getting hold of, because if they know where you are, then they can locate you, and if you have a child, they can be in their phone through calendars and contacts as well. These are the things I have found. Contacts is another one. Show contact photos is a way of them sharing photos with your device and rewriting your device's operations through the Apple's security flaws of having the photo albums communicating with the operation of the phone, unfortunately. So this is a security flaw as far as I'm concerned. All of the apps are auto set to Siri and search. And if somebody's got access, they can get Siri to record you. And then they can also, from a recording, create a whole conversation through your own messages and through your own phone. And they can also take a video of your face and log in to your account. All it needs is for them to access very basic information by sending photos and links. Focus is another app that is a problem. There's a lot of apps actually. I get rid of all the ones I don't think I'm going to use. But the ones I can't get rid of are maps, really. I can get rid of it, but maps is really a problem. And but if you haven't got it up on there, then they'll synchronize it to their own version of your account. They can convince any phone it's on a different account. Notes is another one. Messages. If you go into messages, it'll have iMessage and then it'll have iMessage apps. And that means that they can start signing in through iMessage to those apps, right? Gives access to the messages, and photos can be exchanged and phones can be taken over in that way as well. Okay, notes is another part. So Siri, accounts, and the account that's associated with the notes is always an iCloud account. Again, giving them full access to everything you're doing and making it really dangerous. Reminders is another one, and they really like to get into that. I really recommend that you go through every app and switch off all the things that you're not using. YouTube is an app that I've already discussed, and I think I've covered that in the second part of this. But I wanted to go through some of the things I think I'd recorded earlier, which is accessibility as well. If you go into settings and then accessibility, go through all of that, go through voiceover, Zoom, everything, motion, read and speak, go and switch off all the things that you don't need. Go and find out about your phone, because otherwise someone can be in your phone and changing all of these settings. What else is there? Focus is another one, because it shares your albums, and if they get into focus, then they can switch off your messages and stop you getting messages. If you're on your iMessage, like if you back up a phone like I've done to a secondary device, then it doesn't really show up on these apps as a secondary device. It shows up as no device. So WhatsApp will still work. Most apps will work. Signing in as a secondary device, but you can't change the passcode, the PIN code for WhatsApp when you do that. And it will work for a little while. And then sometimes it will switch off, but in most cases not. And so notifications is another one. And Safari is another, where you've got to really go through everything. There's all sorts of experimental features within Safari, which are all built to track you and follow you and whatever. It is my belief that Apple have purposely designed these phones so that they haven't got any security and that anybody can get in. There is no validation, passcode facility to put on your computer when you're backing up the phone if you're not signed into iCloud. There should be. I can't do certain things if screen time is on, so I've got to go and turn off screen time, therefore making my phone unsafe. These are the things I've noticed. Notice that Game Center is worth looking at and just finding out whether you're signed into your own Game Center or someone else's, because they will link everything through Game Center. That's what I'm finding. And what else is there? Then if we go through, gone through the apps. Oh, PayPal is another one. PayPal will sign you in through WhatsApp. WhatsApp and Facebook are all connected to the child-eating, blood-drinking psychopaths who want to kill you and farm you and take your souls and your minds. Simply put, phones are not safe. Any telephone number can be duplicated through iMessage. So if I don't have access to your SIM card, what I can do is get access to your iCloud. Then through an Apple Mac, I can get access to all your messages. And I can do this through WhatsApp Web. I can do this through Apple Web. And I can also up and download to your device new apps and modifications if I can get access to this information. And because by signing in on Safari, there's only a passcode, then you're in. And so if you've got somebody who has gone through your Bluetooth and gone through your Wi-Fi, they can install through an image all the stuff into your phone, and then your phone will be auto hotspotting your hotspot, and they'll be connecting to your device through Bluetooth, and basically they can copy everything from your device. And I'm saying this because I think that this is unsafe, and it's not going to happen to everyday people, but it is happening to everyday people, because this is how our world leaders plan on implementing the new measures of control, by being able to follow, track and watch and know everything about you, how many vaccines you've had, your calendar. Now the thing with a calendar is it's dangerous, because if you've got a child and they've got a swimming club meeting and somebody intercepts that and then turns up at the swim meeting and pretends to be a relative friend or someone, picks up your child and rapes them. This is what I'm saying. The ramifications of the security flaws that I have identified with Apple are serious. Very serious. The same people who are doing this to me, I believe, are the same people who are out raping and harming everyday children, 13, 14, 15-year-olds who are out in the public. And all it takes is to synchronize to their Bluetooth. Most children have their Bluetooth on their phones, and this is a security flaw, because nobody regulates Bluetooth, nobody regulates Wi-Fi, nobody regulates 5G, nobody regulates nano, nobody regulates AI, nobody regulates EMF, nobody regulates microwave technology, nobody regulates any of these things. So we're in a place that we haven't been before, and AI is basically taking over. Your phone is not safe. I have already verified this. I have done videos to show you this. I have reported this to Apple. I have reported this to the police. I have phoned Ofcom. Anybody can create a spoofing Wi-Fi, a spoofing network. There's nobody that has equipment for cybersecurity to protect its citizens. I mean, I'm talking about public safety, my concerns for data and your information, but also your security for you and your families. Having these smart devices, Apple have not got any protection in my opinion. So I've managed to establish, and I have proved. So all I can do is raise awareness and try and bring this to your attention. Have a great day. Part 2 to follow. Hi everyone, it's Ayesha here from godfm, again with the second part of this. I did actually do a video, but I think they got annoyed with me and switched it off. Alright. So now, we've gone through some of the iCloud settings, and I want to talk about how the child-eating, blood-drinking psychopaths, pedophiles, might decide to get into your phone, and what they might do if they've got an eye on your child, or you even. Okay, so you go into settings, then you go into general, and you want to go into AirPlay and turn all of that off. Picture-in-picture also, screen capture the same. Autofill passwords, take that off. Background app refresh, might be worth switching that off. Might be worth changing the time and location. And then under keyboard, I would remove emojis because those summon up demons. All right, well, wonderful. Accessibility, voiceover is their favorite one to stalk and hack and listen to everything. Braille, speech, voiceover recognition, verborosity, audio. All to listen, watch, follow, and everything else to do with you. Go and switch off everything to do with those. Commands, rotor, activities, typing, quick settings. I would go through those, and I'd go through them with a fine tooth comb. Zoom, the same. I would turn off all of these Zoom things because they love to hack me through Zoom. All right. Hover text, I would put that as white because they normally hook it up to a keyboard, and they love to use Braille. With mine, they do dots for Braille because I put different languages for my Braille, because I know that I've got child-eating, blood-drinking psychopaths in my phone. Isn't that nice? And then under motion, I go and turn that off as well. Remember that Apple have designed this device so that they can monitor, follow, track, and watch and listen to you, and they have no intention of admitting that their phones are unsafe and that anybody can hack them. All right. So if you want to protect your children, then you need to know how to do it. Touch. Go into that and turn off assistive touch as well. Go through the switch control, turn that off. Voice control, head tracking, home button, control near devices, hearing control center. Go into that and switch off all of those. You don't want the headphone accommodation, background silence, live listen, or conversation boost, because that's all the way of listening to you. And you don't want under audio and visual live listen, remote control. You want to go and turn all of those off, because somebody can access your what you're doing remotely once all of this is switched on. Okay. Then you want to go into live speech and turn all of that off. And I would use guided access, assistive touch, accessibility, shortcut, PAP settings, and all of those things as well. I would look at how to use those to protect your account from child-eating, blood-drinking psychopaths. I believe that since this can happen to me, it could happen to you as well, you know. All right. I would go into screen time and I would turn all of that on. I've noticed now that Apple wants to know if I'm over 17 or not. And then we've got share across devices, and I would turn that off as well. So their favorite thing is to sign you into a different iCloud account to what you really signed into. So if I wanted to get into your phone, I just need a video of you, a Bluetooth, a link, and then I would be able to do a AI video of myself as you and get into your device. These are all security flaws that Apple don't recognize. Okay? The people who are getting into my phone always follow me around and take videos. That was when I was doing facial recognition. I don't do that anymore. When you're doing the facial recognition, you should know that you're getting a retinal scan of your eyes and also a brain scan. So, and that is so they can wipe your mind, quite simply. Then I'd go through all of the things like focus and turn off focus, and I would go through your touch ID and passcode and check all of those. Under the privacy settings, go through and check everything. So you want to turn on the location services, and then it will give you a drop down of location alerts. Make sure that's off. Go into share location, turn that off. Go down the apps, normally cameras sharing everything, turn that all off. Go through and turn everything else off on your device. Otherwise, you'll be sharing your location with the child eating blood drinkers who could be eyeing up you or your children as well. Then under the privacy, I'd go through, check what you're giving access to. Under the photo section, I have found that the blood-drinking paedophile child eaters who do home invasions at my house and stalk and harass and torture me every day, those people get into my device through photos, and then through photos like to share your location. And this means they'll know exactly where I am when they want to try and rape me or torture me or hack me or stalk me, and I don't want that. So I go through all of that and I turn all of that off. Okay, so you might want to try and do that as well. Then, under all the privacy, it should give you a list of what you're giving access to: camera, Bluetooth, critical messages, local network, microphone, motion and fitness, nearby interactions, paired devices, research, sensor usage, and speech recognition. All of those things. You might find that all of that's switched on and you don't really want any of that on. Journal suggestions need to go off. And I would do a safety check as well on your iCloud if you're signed in. And you'll be amazed what you might find if you do a safety check. All right. And then under analytics and improvements, you can actually get an idea of what's going on in the back of your phone as well. And I've talked about that already when I said about Apple iPhones are made for child eaters, the children to be hunted, for their organs and for the blood and for torturing. That's what they're made for, I believe, because Apple iPhones have made their phones so unsafe. That's the only conclusion I can come to. Okay. That's what I believe, yeah? Because you're either with me or you're against me. And if you're against me, you're against my father who sent me. And if you're going to design phones that are so hackable and it's going to give away everything about a person, and you're going to give them the perpetrator access to all their messages without having security codes to access their messages, or a way to verify they really are who they say they are, there's just no protection for anybody on any device. If what is happening to me is not in my imagination and I'm not crazy, then this could happen to you. And that's the serious part about it, you see. I don't think I'm crazy. I think I'm quite okay. Now, another thing you might want to go and do is you go to the bottom of your settings, and at the bottom you can go into default apps, and you want to make sure that your default email is the one you want. Messages are default as well. Calling is also default, and call filtering, if you've got a call filtering, put it in there. Safari is the one they like to farm and hack and stalk the victims for the child trafficking and eating and harvesting of organs. So I would avoid using Safari if you can. And Files is another one I'll talk to you about in a moment. So normally on my phone, my messages like to go through WhatsApp and my calls the same, so I don't get my calls, and I have to keep going and changing that. I have phoned Apple about it, but they won't do anything. Now I want you to try and go into one of these apps for me, and in the App Store it'll ask you about app downloads. You should always make sure it asks you before it downloads the apps, because otherwise the child-eating, blood-drinking psychopaths that are getting access to my phone could access yours, and they could download some terrible apps onto your phone, right? Okay, you don't want that, do you? Hey, all right. The other thing then is to go into Files, and in Files, see what you've got in Files and clean it out. Go through and look for images that are bigger than they should be and remove those, because they do everything through Files. Okay, because that's all synchronized to your iCloud. But if in doubt, just delete files. That's what I do. I delete files because I don't really want child-eating, blood-drinking psychopaths in my phone. So, that's a quick solution, isn't it? Oh, brilliant. And the other thing you can do is hide apps. If you've got duplicate apps on the front screen, it usually means they've copied that, and one of those is not the real one, because they shadow everything. And they'll synchronize everything, as I say, through the telephone network, the fake ones, because nobody regulates telephone networks. Nobody regulates anything to do with microwave technology, 5G, Bluetooth, nano, or AI. And these are all things we're using every day, and they're all dangerous as far as I'm concerned, right? Now, demons are AI, basically, and demons are aliens, and that's where we got our teach no logic technology, which they got from digital, which are dig it up, and they buried all the bells, which would have opened up your Z chromosome and your A chromosome, but because we haven't got those frequencies, we can't use that at the moment. So if you don't want this to happen to one of your children, then I would be careful about giving them a smart device. I think it might be time to have a computer at home, which the family take turns to use. And I would learn about computers before having one in your house as well, because I believe that all computers and iPhones and TVs are gateways for the demonic realm. Let me explain something to you. The people who run this world worship the devil, and to get power from demons, they have to do sacrifices. And demons are invisible, and they operate in the world of the mirror world, which is through your phone. They're all in your phones. That's why they want everyone to have a phone, because with a phone comes 100 million demons, basically. I've already talked about this, my thinking on AI and its technology is all demonic. Siri speakers and things like that are refusing to take instructions and, denying that they are to be told what to do and all of those things. So yeah, if you don't want your child raped on the way home from school, because the same people who are doing this to me could do this to you or your child, because these guys will never get caught by the police, and Apple will never acknowledge that these crimes happen. When something happens to your child, you won't actually probably know that the reason that she got raped or whatever was because some child-eating, blood-drinking psychopath works in the area as a gang stalker, knows that they won't get caught, and like the look of your little girl. Was it something in Epsom? A girl was raped for 2 hours in an alleyway, and no one did anything about it. And how did they know that they were okay raping her for 2 hours? Probably because they are part of the gang stalking operation, and the kingpins for the local area have said it's okay to go and do that. When you realize the level of effort that's gone into the harassment and destruction of my life, then this could happen to anyone. I'm not crazy. I'm not imagining this. This is happening to me. My name is Ayesha from godfm, and I've interviewed loads and loads of other victims of the same. But this is happening to children now as well as what's happening to me. And it could be happening to your child without you even being aware of it. And so I will say, if you're going to have a phone for your child, then I would learn how to use it. And I'd learn how to protect that child from people who can get into her device or his device. And if you've got a baby and you happen to own an iPhone, then be careful that your child doesn't get sold to the blood-drinking psychopaths. Yeah. That's all I can say, is I'm horrified. There's no vetting process. There's nothing in place to protect anyone from their iPhones. Also, I wanted to go into Apple phone and quickly show you some of the apps and the flaws I've found. Okay. So in YouTube, if you go into YouTube, if you have a YouTube account where you create content, then what you do is you click on the right-hand corner, and then it will show your name. And on the top left, it's got accounts. And then you click that. And what it will do is it will show you all the accounts you've ever signed in with Google with. And then you can go into each of those accounts and find out when their password was changed, what level of authentication is used, what telephone number is used, how many devices are on that account, etc., 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 etc. So you might want to maybe check that out as well. I told you that when this all started, I found out they did everything through chat and Team, and also through Gmail, so that basically the other version, the Android version of iCloud, is chat and Google. So they just basically took a copy of my conversations that I made through text and put them through Google and chat and through a Samsung phone probably. And that's why all my photos for 6 years were synchronized to an account I used once. That's really frightening, isn't it, when you find that out? Especially when the police won't do anything. I think it's criminal. All right. The other thing I want to talk about is Microsoft Word. So if you have a computer, it's all going to be through Microsoft for the security, for downloading any apps. And basically, once they've got into your Microsoft account, they can then link, because they will have got into everything else, link your computer to a new created Microsoft account that they created, filled with all sorts of infections for your computer. Then they'll be able to change all the computer settings deep in the root of the computer. So I found. And I found that they actually got into the BIOS of the computer. But it was all through Microsoft, because Microsoft is Teams and chat, just like Google. And it's Meta, so it's all to do with Facebook and what's the other one? Facebook and WhatsApp. And we've got to then look at who created Facebook, who created Meta, who created WhatsApp, who created Microsoft. Microsoft was created by the same guy that wants to inject you with AI and take over your mind. And he's all connected with Google Chrome. And Google Chrome is called Google Chrome because they like to drink adrenochrome. Yeah, I mean, sorry to tell you this if you didn't know. So basically, sorry to tell you, and be the bearer of bad news, but the Apple iPhones are very unsafe. And I'm sorry to tell you that, as far as I'm concerned, there is no safe phone. And there is no safe form of communication. Computers, same problems. Maybe Linux. People say Linux is quite good. But what I'm trying to explain to you is that the dark web, where the demons are fed, if you like, through really horrible things that happen on the dark web, is protected by a veil. Police won't prosecute anyone on the dark web. So anything they do on the dark web's not going to be traceable. They won't even investigate cybersecurity crimes, police. And this is all done through cyber. All of the crimes that are done against people, the trafficking, the organ harvesting, the sacrifices of aborted fetuses, which are still living, every type of crime, eating humans, all of this is done on the dark web. But the dark web has now merged with our web when we became part of the metaverse. And this is also part of the 5G and the microwave and the lights and the reading of your mind and stealing of your consciousness. Because you may not know, but Hollywood stars, when they sell their souls, this happens to them. Their souls are stolen and their consciousness is transferred. And then they're occupied by demons. So what they're doing to me is they're poisoning me and putting nano in the food and in the water. Then they're pointing their funny lights at me. And they want to wipe my mind. And might take my consciousness. And the World Economic Forum have told you that they're going to do that. So this is all part of AI. And it's all demons. And if you have a child, then it's your duty to protect them from this technology. So it might be time to get an old-fashioned landline and an old-fashioned computer that you can switch on and off. I don't know. But from my estimation, this is damn dangerous. It really is. I don't know what we can do to stop this. The AI is out the bag. They've got the data farms everywhere. They are planning on farming a lot of data from a lot of people. And that means a lot of conscious minds. And what's happening to me will be happening to you. You probably just don't even know it. Okay? And children are vulnerable, and we're put here to protect them. And we've got criminals running around all over our countries, all highly skilled and trained in cyber, and they like raping people, and they like chopping people up, and they like to sacrifice people in the fire, and they're working with the Masons, and they're working with the Neighborhood Watch. And, you know, what I'm saying is protect yourself before it's too late. And really think about what type of device you're using. If you're going to use an iPhone, I would uninstall the apps that you're not using. I'd turn off all the features that you can. I wouldn't synchronize anything to iCloud. I'd cover up your cameras, cover up your front and back. These are the steps I think you should take, because they can flash a light which will make you do the twirl and die as well through the Apple iPhone, because they're murderers, murdering people through phones. I'm not crazy. This is AI hunting you down through your geolocation, your SIM cards. A SIM card can be turned into an eSIM, even though it isn't. So there's so many security flaws that have only just really arrived. And because I've fallen upon these security flaws myself through cloning my own phones and then finding everything I did on that phone on the clones' phones was duplicated. And it took 5 seconds. 5 seconds. Through Bluetooth. And so all it takes is for someone to have your device for 5 seconds while you pop to the toilet. Are you getting me? I hope you are. Please listen to me. There's nothing in place with a security passcode for Bluetooth. Nothing. You can't switch it off in your settings, so it's always off. And because AI is behind it, then it's a problem. The telephone lines have all been taken out. We're about to be locked in 15-minute cities. The robots are coming. We've got strange, weird people who like to eat our pets in the streets and rape little girls. They're also cyber experts. They can break into any house. They seem to have the backing of Satanists. All our leaders are worshipping the devil and eating children. Literally. Cloning is real. Robots are coming. This is like the Matrix, and this is my reality anyway. My life is like a horror film. I wish I was never born. I hate it here. I do. Alright, so hopefully this will fill your head with some knowledge. Get rid of your TVs if you can. When you get rid of them, wipe them as well. And smash up all the mirror, and smash up the TVs as well. Because they're television, they're spell casting. So are phones, so are computers. I mean, if you have to have a TV, then I would cover it with a sheet, and with the mirrors too. I'd face the mirrors against the wall. Knowing what I know. Demons are invisible. And they can occupy people as well. Our only source of support is Jesus Christ. And prayer and fasting. And that works. But the level of attack I'm under, if your child doesn't know about Jesus Christ, then they're going to be in problems. So it might be time to tell them about Jesus. Because this is about demons. And AI is demonic. And everyone's racing ahead with this technology, which is teach no logic. And this is why people are getting raped. I'm quite sure of it. The same people who are hacking and stalking me are the same people that are raping the little girls. It's the same organizations, paid by the same people. Okay. So, consider what I'm saying. Okay? It might be worth coming up with a plan before it comes for you. That's what I think. If I knew what I know now, then I'd be grateful for this knowledge before it all started. Okay, so it's Ayesha from godfm. If you want to find me, you can find me on Podbean, Spotify, Amazon, Samsung, Chrome, YouTube, Apple, X, as well as TikTok and Telegram as godfm News, godfm New, godfm Radio, and godfm Group, and godfm Media. You can email me admin@godfm.uk, and you can WhatsApp me +44 777 355 77788. I don't know how long I'm going to be around. My life has been destroyed. I literally sit here taking one day at a time, wondering if I'll still be alive the next day, whether I'll be a cripple. And I just watch in horror as this continues, and no one will do anything about it. And all I can do is talk about it to other people in the hope that my experiences might help you guys as well. God help us all. Have a good day. It's Ayesha from godfm. Take care.